dashed forward into a block. Keisuke is the back to basics, by the way. I think everyone agreed at Tekken World Tour. He is like the best player. He just plays core Tekken and core mechanics.
Whoa. Nice.
Keisuke is the back to basics.
Keisuke's hot.
Dynamic free caught, sidestep left there. So that was Arslan adjusting to Keisuke's movement there in the neutral. You can't whiff anything! Not the combo. Did you hear what Arslan said? He's playing like it's EVO finals, yeah. Keisuke has no chill. I think he has no chill. He does drop a lot of combos. If Keisuke actually learned the best combo routes and got the consistency, my god.
It's EVO Grand Final, guys. Keisuke's playing like...
Is Arslan expecting him to not sweat here?
Like...
What a low parry. What a call out. Nice combo though. Oh my god! Look, it's a double sidestep. He does a sidestep cancel. That's a sidestep cancel. Step, step. Jab, jab. 1+2 guaranteed. Optimal combo. Optimal combo. He is demolishing Arslan Ash, and it's almost entirely defensive play. It's almost entirely defensive play. Never attacking Arslan. He's just, yeah, he's just moving, looking for Arslan to press, and I'm fucking him. Peak Kazuya gameplay. This isn't peak Kazuya gameplay. This is peak Tekken you're looking at. This is what it looks like when you've mastered the mechanics and you've mastered defense. This is just the peak of Tekken, I would say. Can Arslan just get around here? Are we gonna see a comeback? Damn, good morning. Okay, okay. Okay, Arslan gets around. He is just moving. Sick double fist. Oh, okay. Is he just toying around? A normal flash punch would have been more beneficial there. Nice block and punish.
Online you can sometimes react.
Now we're going to patch aside. No? Okay. Flash punch. Namek 4. Namek 4. And that's it. Yeah, I mean, Arslan obviously recognizes the strength of Keisuke here, how incredibly he played, his defense, best defense in the world. You know, so many people came up to me watching Keisuke play at Tekken World Tour and just saying, like, flat out, I believe he's the best player in the world. Because I think everyone acknowledges he just plays Tekken at its core. He does nothing else. He is almost exclusively just punishing mistakes and overextension. And has like the best timing. Astonishing level of play. The best Kazuya by far. It's not even close. And Arslan here, obviously, he just had no chance. Again, this could be Keisuke just improving. It could be Arslan maybe not having his best day, but still, like, absolutely incredible. I'm so happy we watched this because with all of the bullshit of Season 3, here you see what the game can be. You know, and this is the back to basics. Just watching Keisuke play Tekken. This was beautiful to watch. And yeah, I really hope we see more of him in tournaments soon.
Yo, what's up guys? I pray that you're all doing well. My name's Joke and today it's a very, very special day. I'm joined with the man who needs no introduction. Arslan Ash, how are you bro? How are you doing?
Man who needs no introduction. That's me. Oh yeah, thank you so much. I'm doing great. How are you, bro?
I'm all good, man. It's been a long time since we last spoke.
It's been like 2-3 months. Last time we spoke was in Thailand.
Yeah, it's been a very long time. So guys, today we're basically going to be doing a Season 3 tier list based on how strong characters are, and I'm sure everyone wants to hear what Arslan's thoughts are on characters and whatnot, so...
I think it's not just me, I think this is like we together. This is the first time I'm doing a tier list like with someone so talented. So let's do this.
For sure. Let's get straight into it. So Arslan, have you been playing much in Season 3? I've been playing a lot online, of course. I've not been playing much offline, but how do you experience it in Japan? Because obviously you moved there.
I'm loving it, bro. I didn't know that online is so much fun. We were just talking about it, right?
Yeah.
But I think online is, especially online in Japan and Korea, is so much fun. I have joined a lot of Discord groups, Japanese Discord group. They keep asking me, okay, we have this offline session. You know, they think of me like I love offline scene, but it's the opposite. I'm loving the online scene. I just don't wanna go, you know. I just don't wanna go and do an offline gathering and stuff like that. Online is so good because you get to play with with a lot of strong players every day online in ranked, and I think it's really nice. And it's very healthy because you get to play every two, and tournaments every two, so it's good practice in my opinion.
Yeah, I've been watching your streams and you've been playing a lot of players and a variety of different playstyles, and I think that's really important if you want to improve, you know?
Yes. Yeah. I think I'm leveling up. Trust me, I'm not joking. I'm leveling up in many ways. Like before in Pakistan, I feel like I was, in a shell where I used to play with like 6-7 players every day, like Atif, Razin, Khan, Sharam, Ishari, Boflu, just 6-7 players every day, and doesn't matter. Okay, Atif can play many characters, but he cannot change his play style. You know, every character he play with the same fashion, with the same style. He aggressive style, you know, risky, but that's not healthy. Trust me, that's actually not healthy. Like keep playing. You need different styles of the same character, and you cannot optimize. Doesn't mean to optimize one character it takes like months to optimize one character. You to know that character everything. So in Japan, you know, if I'm facing best foreign player, let's say best like Azucena player and different styles, is really healthy.
That's good to hear, man. I think that's really important about the playstyles part as well, because you learn about the different weaknesses in certain playstyles, and of course, if you know Atif so well as a player or your other training partners, you're always going to understand their weaknesses. But when you play against different playstyles, it's easier for you to understand the different ways they play.
Yeah, bro. I was wondering, like, why Ulsan, Malgor, Lohai, and other top Korean players, even like Japanese players, they don't lose to like randoms. And I was like, why I lose to randoms? You know, not like super randoms, but like You got me right. I don't wanna name it. But they never lose to those players, you know. So it's like, what's the difference? I think that's the difference. Now understanding, you know, in ranked is really helpful. You will not lose to like those. I don't think so. I'm gonna lose to those players anymore.
Yeah, definitely. I think online helps so much, man. I'm really glad to see you playing more online, you know. Because there is a lot of players that really like disregard online and say that it's bad, but I don't think so.
I think it's bad as well when you are in like bad regions.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, you got me. I think it's bad to play online in Pakistan because the connection is not good and the player, most of the strong players they play offline and you get to play with like just okay players from Pakistan. So it depends. If you are I think in Europe it's good because the online scene is really good. If you are in Korea, Japan is the best. There is no better scene than Korea, Japan online. In USA I played online in USA. I really wanted to play offline because the connection was terrible. It was like no, that's not like where you improve.
Yeah, definitely have a lot of low bars, which is crazy. But anyways, man, let's get straight to the tier list, man. So Arslan, let's get on with this tier list. I think the first character we should talk about is probably Jack. What do you think about Jack in season 3? Some of the changes I have noted down is like Board 1 now gives the new counter knockdown animation. I think 4 3+4 goes into Gamma Hal quicker, I think by 4 frames. Board 1+2 is now safe, the clap into the extension, yeah.
I think it is nice too. Very safe, yeah.
Yeah, and I think his new move is back 3+4.
I don't find any use of that. I don't know. But also, I didn't deal with a lot of Jack players, so you tell me. But I feel like Jack is not popular in Europe.
Yeah, Jack's not popular in Europe, but honestly, I think he's very strong. You know, he fits like the Tekken 8 meta very well, like defense and offense.
I feel like Jack is really strong, but of course, big body character has this weakness, like Kuma, Pada, Jack, Pakuram. Because I haven't played Pakuram, I can understand this. Like 50% of the cast, I think, is the bad matchup for Pakuram, but Jack, on the other hand, has this advantage where he can just go Gamma Hal?
Yeah.
What is the name of this?
Gamma Hal, yeah.
Yeah, that's not. I think that's really good too. Such a nice defensive tool. And then he has this power 2-1 and good poking. His poking is better than Fakuram. I would say A maybe. What do you think?
I think A as well. I mean, we don't even need to mention his bug right because it's going to get fixed and it's unintentional.
Yeah, exactly.
But I think he's very strong, underrated, and I think just because he's like a big body character, I feel like his defensive options help him out really well in this game, especially.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think I would put Jack in A.
Without Gamma maybe Crash, I guess.
I agree.
Without that.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, without that thing, you know, I think his new stance is carrying him so much. That's so good.
100%. And his combos are crazy. He's got good wall carrying, good damage as well.
Combos are super good, yeah. He's risky though, but now I think people are understanding how to tackle Jack. In the beginning, I know that people didn't know how to fight Jack, but now they are like understanding how to fight Jack. But still, I think Jack is annoying. Good box. No need to mention like that's so obvious that big body characters they manage space very well, control space very well. So I think the new buff of a 1 buff I think is nice because it's like Tekken 6 kind of thing, yeah.
Yeah.
In Tekken 6, yeah. So that's nice. But yeah, I think he belongs to here.
Yeah, I think A as well. I think we'll order the characters after we've done putting them in tiers.
Yeah.
So next character is Jin. Honestly, Jin I don't think is that strong, you know.
Why do you think?
The only thing is, I think Jin, like, if you're really focused on the day, I feel like you can react to a lot of his blows, even on console, I think. I just think, like, Jin, they've nerfed him so much compared to, like, Season 1, for instance.
So, here's my thing. So, because I also think it's the same, but... Okay, who can react? There are, like, only 2% of the players who can react to maybe consistently.
Yeah.
Of Jin's down back 4 and down 2 and stuff like that. And hell sweep. Maybe only like 2%, maybe let's say 5%. 5% people react to his sweep. But Jin overall is very scary. Like in FT2 settings, I think Jin is so good. like also they buffed him. They buffed his stance. Now electric 1 is safe. Electric 2 is good. They buffed his new move in Heat, which is 4/1+2.
He also has the new downforce 2 extension as well in Heat.
Downforce is really good. Such a nice. He's poking 2-1, downforce, power 4, electric, back power 2, neutral 4. His basic like moves are really good. I think he's strong. Trust me, bro. He's really good.
I bet I can terrify you with a single sentence. Tiger Woods driving a car. Even just saying that frightened me a little bit, like a scary story around a campfire. Golly. Yeah, Tiger Woods has just been involved in another rollover crash, and it's far from an isolated incident. He has quite a lot of these under his belt, and a lot of them, well, they were really his fault. And in a couple of cases, like in the one we're about to talk about that just happened a couple hours ago, under the influence of some substances. He has been charged with DUI in this one. He has an extensive history of these kind of accidents dating all the way back to 2009 when he crashed into a fire hydrant in his neighbor's yard, and his wife at the time had to pull him from the vehicle. He went to a hospital and was later released. No charges were pressed there. However, a bit of a different story in his second go-around here in 2017 when he passed out behind the wheel of his vehicle and crashed. He was arrested and found to have prescription drugs and marijuana in his system. He pled guilty to reckless driving, but avoided jail time thanks to a plea deal. They then later dropped the charges of DUI and then spent a year on probation. And then in 2021, he had a major accident. It was a rollover crash where his SUV ended up rolling down a steep embankment. The police said that the crash was caused by excessive speed. He was traveling at 87 miles per hour in a 45 zone. And inability to navigate the curve. He needed surgery. He sustained serious injuries, but they didn't seek a warrant for blood tests because they said there was no evidence of impairment or intoxication, so there was no charges filed. It was ruled an accident. I feel like if this was any ordinary Joe Schmo, there probably would have been some charges for going fucking 87 miles per hour in a 45 zone. Was this guy trying to travel back in time like a man? Like, this is absurd. It's a miracle he didn't kill himself or someone else on the road. And really, it's miraculous he hasn't killed someone else from all of his accidents, including the one today, which was another rollover crash that he was involved in. It seems like Tiger Woods is more accustomed to his vehicles being on their side than on their four wheels. Now, this time it is a little different because they are pressing charges for DUI because they did see signs of impairment, not from alcohol, but from substances. Like, Tiger Woods and automobiles just do not mix at all. It's like fucking SpongeBob with the boatmobiles. I now truly understand how Mrs. Puff must have felt every time SpongeBob got behind the wheel of a boat.
Famed golfer Tiger Woods was involved in a rollover car crash, according to the local sheriff. Our affiliate WPTV posted this photo from the scene. We're told the crash is in Martin County, Florida. That's about 27 miles north of Palm Beach. Local police say the Martin County Sheriff's Office is handling the crash investigation. The 50-year-old golfer played in a match Tuesday in Palm Beach Gardens, Florida.
Tiger Woods has unimaginable wealth. You would think that he would have a driver, or at the very least, pay for an Uber when he is under the influence. Yet, multiple times throughout his life, he insists on driving impaired. Again, it is miraculous that he hasn't killed someone else or killed himself in one of these accidents. Genuinely, he should not have his license any longer. For the safety of all the innocent people that have to share the road with him, he cannot be trusted behind the wheel of a vehicle. He is a worse driver than the drooling zombies in Grand Theft Auto Online who are like intentionally crashing into people and things. This guy is...
Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today, we're gonna take a look at the mess that's been made in Season 3. Why it's so bad. It's not just the character balance, right? In fact, we're gonna look at the game with our eyes half closed, like, oh, and it's kind of blurry. It seems like the balance is a little bit better than Season 2, a little bit better. There aren't any major changes to the game mechanics. The general mechanics of the balance is a little bit better, but not enough to warrant a change of season. They spent 9 months giving us this. And what is it that most affects, I think, all of us who were waiting for season 3? The lies. Well, it's not just the lack of balance there isn't biting, it's also that they tell you, no, let's go to basics. What do you make of all the changes that there were? What is basic? What is back to basics? Because there's nothing basic about it. In fact, for example, a good change they made is that Hit Smash no longer requires flat play. We'll get into that later, but hey, okay, that's fine. But you didn't see any basics that never existed. In fact, Smash came out in season 8. I mean, it's basic there. What's basic? What's basic there? What else did they put? That the hint tools turn off when the hit mode is turned off. It doesn't have, I mean, what's basic about that? So the problem is the pattern. What did they tell us in season 2? This is going to be a defensive season. Everyone was waiting for it when it came out. What is this? No. But here it's something that's not normal anymore. It's not something that at first I thought was that they don't know how to play. And they don't know what defense is or not. They don't, no, it's not that there's a pattern here. It's like they lie to you to make people believe that they're going to improve, and it's like the toxic girlfriend, right? So, let's start talking about the changes, because there are changes that I think are really good, and there are changes that I think are extremely stupid, right? So, as a main possibility, I'll start with Paula. However, let's talk about this topic of smashes for a moment. Problems of philosophy. Look, it's not just about going offensive, but a classic thing about the game, like it happens with excessive logi smash and mush, is that, okay, I'm gonna play, you're playing, right? You're here to do the move, and you make me miss it, because you know that I'm going to attack, and I'm going to make me miss a hit, but since I have my H smash, and it doesn't just happen with H smash.
Oh, you're Irish.
That have this.
I thought you were retarded.
You use the smash, and as you see, the first hit misses, and the second hit, you say, okay. The first hit miss, I'm gonna interrupt. You can't interrupt. Why? Because, well, a Jabba down for 1, the quick hits with which you want to interrupt 1, and evades them with the next hit, because the characters' hitboxes have this, you can see. The second hit, Juan throws. His second hit, Juan throws his foot forward, and since he throws his foot forward, his hit ball is gonna hit you before you hit him, right? So, you can't interrupt him. Okay, we are gonna throw a longer goal, so that my hip is in front of the target. You can, because the time between one hit and the other doesn't give you time to throw a hit to interrupt it, doesn't matter. We keep blocking. You don't have time to block the second hit before it hits you. I mean, you don't have time, you're blocking, and he advances more than you forward. But, let's do stick. And it's meant to track an A. He can hit you at any time. Even though you're struggling, even though you get out of range, you anticipate that there's a move coming, and then it wants to bitch. No. Because on top of that, you're already there and it stays in plus frame. On top of that, it stays in blue frame. Well, that's the situation for many characters, right? I put the hero there with a tap, bam, bam, bam. Well, anyway. So that's a problem in 8. It's not just the offense.
When Season 3 of Tekken 8 was first announced, we were given a very rare and well-needed moment of hope for the community. As everyone knows, 2025 was a horrible year for Tekken fans. Of course, because of Season 2, which, all things considered, was not only the worst update in Tekken history, but likely in all of fighting games. This was an update that doubled down on every single aspect of the game that the community hates. The forced 50-50s, the stances, the 30-second combos, the death in 2 interactions, all of it. Nobody liked Season 2. And after the slog that followed, with us waiting months and months for these tiny patches, these minute steps in the right direction, until they decided to stop patches altogether, because everyone knows it's impossible to patch a game while there's tournaments going on. We were at an all-time low in the Tekken community. We needed a win, and this Season 3 reveal in January served as just that. Alongside revealing the next 3 DLC characters all at once, they gave us our first trailer for Season 3. A trailer that has become notorious for all the wrong reasons. More conventional, more focused, more deliberate, a fresh start, and of course, back to basics. Oh my god. When we first saw this, we were over the moon. It seemed like Namco was finally listening to us. They were finally understanding why so many people have problems with modern Tekken, and they were showing us that they had learned their lesson from Season 2. I mean, this makes sense, right? After all, they are a business. The negative PR from Season 2 absolutely affected the sales of both the game itself and its DLC. I've gotten so many comments from people who said they were previously interested in giving the game a try, but were turned off by the community's reaction to Season 2, and decided to never bother. Namco must have noticed this, and you would think that they would be doing everything in their power to fix their mistakes with the game and start earning some goodwill back from the community. Come on, it's just obvious. This is business. If all of your customers are unhappy with your product, then you change that product. That's how you make money. Prior to any of this, I would have bet money on Season 3 being, at the very least, inoffensive. Because if it isn't, where does that leave Tekken 8? Would they really be so incompetent as to let their new shiny game completely die in the eyes of casuals? There's no way they would just let Tekken 8 die, right? That was what I was thinking at the time. And again, the trailer signaled that for the first time in this game's life, the devs were somewhat on the same page as players. Things were good. Until that fateful day in February, where we got our very first updates on Season 2. This is where it all began. In this blog article they gave us, we were given info on a couple new system changes early. Heat Smash is no longer wall splats. Great. And these annoying-ass installs now go away after heat. Also great. Wow, this season is already looking good. And then I kept reading. They were, for some reason, clarifying what they meant when they said, back to basics. Now, I didn't think the phrase, back to basics, would require any clarification. I mean, these three words in particular are very specific to the Tekken community. I don't think there was a lot of confusion on what back to basics meant. I'm sure there were some delusional people who thought there was any chance they would remove key Tekken 8 systems like Heat, but most of us knew that wasn't going to happen. We all rightfully assumed that by back to basics, they mean a further emphasis on defense, which is the one thing Tekken 8 in its current state is missing. Offense is way too easy and way too oppressive. The amount of work you have to put in to counter someone's offense versus the effort it takes to mash buttons on their block is a joke. This is the biggest problem with the game. So what else could back to basics mean? Why did they have to clarify here? And then I kept reading. These terms do not denote a return to earlier Tekken battle systems, nor do they imply drastic, comprehensive changes introduced in a single update. Season 3 does not guarantee dramatic, immediate shifts, such as substantially strengthening defense or significantly weakening offense, in ways that diverge from the intended gameplay philosophy of Tekken 8. When I read this, I was floored. And keep in mind, this was over 3 weeks before we got Season 3. I don't think I had ever seen a balance team try to damage control an update before the update's patch notes are even out yet. And to be very clear, that is exactly what this was. It is damage control. They knew people's excitement and hype based on the first trailer was not in line with the changes they were actually planning, and felt they had to say something now so we wouldn't all be extremely disappointed when the patch notes release. They thought our expectations were too high. But why were our expectations so high? It's probably because they raised them themselves. More conventional, more focused, more deliberate. The trailer they released said all of this, and a month later, we get this backtrack. How can you on one hand say we're going back to basics, and then on the other hand, say that Season 3 doesn't guarantee dramatic shifts in the gameplay meta? What are we going back to then? At this point, I'm thinking to myself, no way. There is no way this is happening. They've had almost a full year to work on this patch. They know exactly what our problems with Season 2 were, and they hyped us all up a month ago by telling us we were going to get what we wanted. There is no way they would just lie to us so blatantly. I must be missing something here. This trailer and this following blog post felt like they were made by completely different people who had completely different ideas of how the season would be. And again, my expectations weren't insane. They were purely based on what the Tekken team had told us. They intentionally made this trailer to hype up the community and restore good faith, even though they knew it would be inaccurate. They lied to us. And again, this was a month before we even got patch notes. They also said in this article that rather than this being one huge update, it would be a single step in a group of incremental refinements. This was honestly one of the most upsetting things of all, and in retrospect, this was them telling us that Season 3 won't be the big update we've been looking for. And keep in mind the context here. We had been dealing with Season 2's bullshit for the past year, and for that entire year, we've gotten no major changes. Instead, getting these insultingly small, tiny patches that fix maybe 10% of the game's issue. And this whole time, everyone is telling us, just wait for Season 3, guys! Just wait! Season 3 is going to be the patch we're all waiting for. The Tekken World Tour is going on right now. Obviously they can't patch the game, just be patient. And Tekken themselves are hyping up this update as a big return to form for the series. And after all that, Season 3 is looking like another small step in the right direction. I gotta tell you guys, I cannot stand that phrase anymore. And at this point, there's so much going through my head. Are these two good but small system changes all we're going to be getting in Season 3? Is this patch not going to give us significant nerfs to the top tiers who have been making this game a living hell? Surely there's no way. And little did I know just how worse things were about to get. I spent days thinking about this, and the conclusion I ended up coming to was that there is something we're missing here. Surely, during a period where this game is more hated than ever, the Balance team wouldn't blatantly lie to us and deliver another underwhelming step in the right direction patch. Tekken 8 has needed a win for so long now. We needed the win really badly when Season 2 first released. As much as we all like to clown on the Balance team, I'll regurgitate again, it is a business at the end of the day. They certainly have a vested interest in keeping the community engaged. Otherwise, the game's active player base and sales numbers are going to continue to decrease. So many people were saying they were going to quit if Season 3 didn't hit. Maybe there is some hope after all. Maybe, just maybe, they were underestimating the changes they made in this blog. Maybe they wanted to keep our expectations down so they could surprise us, and then it would end up being more than what we expected, not less. What if they're just lowering our expectations so they can surprise us all? I was smoking unhealthy amounts of copium for the next month leading into the patch. And then, the day came. Patch note day. I opened up OBS and started recording my live reaction to the patch notes. And it didn't take long for the reality of the situation to set in. The very first character changes were Elisa. In version 3.0, we focused on expanding her routes into destructive form. These adjustments are intended to make it easier to build offensive pressure centered around destructive form. And suddenly I'm getting Vietnam flashbacks of the past year. They didn't just buff this motherfucker, did they? It must be a typo. And then reality set back in. This was the first character. I was incredibly worried about this patch being a small, but ultimately inoffensive update. I knew it wouldn't be enough, but I thought it would be a step forward. Instead, what we got here was fucking Season 2.5.
Well, we're boned.
We waited all this time for a repeat of Season 2. Even now, almost a week out from the update, I am still completely dumbfounded that the Balance team could be this incompetent. What we ended up getting here was a patch that gave us a step in the right direction, and 2 steps right back towards Season 2. This update, to put it plainly, is horrible. Even in a vacuum, this is a pretty poor patch. But when you combine it with the fact that it's following up Season 2, and we've been waiting desperately for changes for the past year, it becomes, in my opinion at least, Tekken's biggest fuck-up ever. Yeah, we're always going to remember Season 2 for the disaster it was, but imagine the Redemption update, the one that they hyped up being back to basics, to also be a failure. This is the reality. We are living in the worst timeline possible. I actually thought it was impossible for things to get so bad, but here we are. We've been seeing pro players quitting left and right, thousands and thousands of more regular players like us just completely giving up. And most upsetting of all, Season 3 took away any chance of getting Arsenalty back. I don't know if I can ever forgive Namco for that one. Incompetence. That's the only word I think is appropriate right now to describe the Tekken 8 team. This was supposed to be a brand new team, by the way. Supposedly, the old team responsible for Season 2 got fired. Was that a lie, too? Like when the game's director, Nikatsu, apologized for Season 2 and promised they would regain our trust? Is this just another lie? Seems that way to me. I'm honestly just speechless. I can't believe this actually happened. I'm actually getting angry just writing this script. And trust me, I'm gonna get a whole lot angrier. Let's go into some specifics and take a look at this patch. We need to go over some of the most offensive issues here, because some people who aren't too familiar might think I'm exaggerating with how bad this is. See, on paper, there is actually more to like here than in Season 2. This is mainly because there are way less changes overall to every character, which just means they had a much smaller chance of accidentally destroying characters compared to what they had in Season 2. There's just less changes, so they weren't able to fuck up as much. In terms of the actual content of the patch, though, is Season 3 really that different from Season 2? Let's go over it. Just like in Season 2, we got a few nerfs to the top tiers that we've been asking for. The Anna and Asuka nerfs are actually pretty great, and the Brian, Clive, and Claudio nerfs are also all welcome, though if you ask me, none of these three got hit even remotely hard. This is very similar to last season, where they nerfed Brian, they nerfed Jin, they nerfed Yoshi, Dragunov, and a bunch of other top tiers. So in both patches, we got nerfs to top tiers, and in both of them, it was nerfed. Okay, great. Also, just like last season, we got some pretty good system changes. Last year, it was the buff to sidesteps and the nerf to stage hazards, which was great. Now, it's the nerf to heat smashes and installs that they announced ahead of time. Again, these are both great, but these are the same small amount of positives as Season 2. And unfortunately, in my eyes at least, this is basically it when it comes to positives. Let's get into the negatives now. Just like in Season 2, multiple characters, even top tiers, were buffed for absolutely no reason. Most of us rational people in the community agreed that after the unreal power creep of last season, no one needs buffs. Every character is incredibly strong, and rather than buffing anyone up, we should focus on bringing the power level down to the current low tiers. No buffs, all nerfs. That's what they needed to start moving towards a balanced game. I didn't realistically expect this. I thought there would definitely be a few buffs to some of the less played low-tier characters, but what I did not expect was buffing top tiers once again. They cannot fucking help themselves. Martial Law, a top 5 character and a competitive staple, not only avoided nerfs, but was buffed and is now a stronger character than he was in Season 2. Elisa, same deal, seemingly buffed for no reason. June, one of the most hated characters in Season 2, gets buffed. Hope you like laser beams. Leo, one of the most underrated characters in the game, but still decidedly a top-tier character, gets giga buffed. Same deal for Victor. Same deal for Lydia. If all the characters I just mentioned here had stayed the exact same, we would still, rightfully so, be very upset. All of them needed nerfs if there was any chance of this game becoming more balanced. There would have been a ton of complaining that these guys got away with murder. But it turns out, in Season 3, they don't just get away with murder, they get rewarded for it. Now getting the green light from the devs to step up from homicide to war crimes. I can't believe they would be this incompetent. Of course, it wasn't just the top tiers. Plenty of other characters got significant buffs. So, there goes any chance of bringing the baseline Tekken 8 power level down. They simply want every character to be broken, which means for us, the players, that we have to keep playing this game where fighting 90% of the roster is equivalent to dragging a cheese grater across our nutsacks. Why is the majority of the cast buffed here? Remember Jin, my main, a character who arguably was already ruined coming into Tekken 8, and absolutely dominated Season 1. He then got nerfed pretty hard in Season 2, but of course, because he's Namco's golden boy, he gets a ton of crazy compensation buffs that keep him as a top tier anyway. This was Season 2, and guess what happened to him in Season 3? It's the the same shit. His Heat Smash is nerfed, and his combo length is nerfed too. Nice, but in exchange, he gets buffed on a ton of his moves, and gets a brand new Tekken 8 God button. Because we definitely needed that, right guys? They've swapped one cancerous God Heat button for another. That can now be used multiple times as well. Why is the Balance team so allergic to just nerfing characters? We don't need compensation buffs. It's like in Season 2 when people complained about low Heat Smashes, so Namco said, okay, we'll make them slightly weaker, but now you can do 3 of them per Heat bar. By the way, that is still unchanged, and is probably never going to get changed. They just refuse to learn from their mistakes. They refuse to take community feedback. And it just seems like someone up there has a clear vision for what they want Tekken 8 to be. And even despite literally no Tekken players liking that vision, they're insisting on pushing it out anyway. Sure, they'll toss us a few bones occasionally. The sidestep buffs last season, the Heat Smash nerfs this season, but at the end of the day, the game is not changing. This really is Season 2.5. The game does not feel any different, and those cancerous top tiers that we've been begrudgingly dealing with for the last year will now be replaced with a whole new set of even stronger god characters. Lovely. Once is a mistake, but doing the same thing again after a full year of feedback, this is just embarrassing. If Season 2 was 20% positive changes and 80% negative, Season 3 is maybe 40% positive, 60% negative. But again, there's only more positives in this patch because there's less stuff overall. And even then, this isn't a good number. We waited a year for another patch that is majority negative? To be clear here, they knew exactly what they were doing. Remember the damage control blog they posted that we talked about earlier? Suddenly, it all makes sense now. They knew what this patch was, and they decided to ship it out anyway. It's just incredibly blatant, even when you look at the patch notes themselves. Previously, balance patches always contained up and down arrows, signaling if the changes were intended as buffs or nerfs to a character. And guess what is conveniently absent on the Season 3 patch notes? They probably looked at these 14 pages and realized how horrible it would look if it was once again mostly up arrows. So they removed them, thinking that maybe some people wouldn't actually read the changes themselves and notice. I honestly feel talked down to by the Tekken developers. Why do they think they can hype up the whole community saying back to basics, only to completely back down from that a month later, and then release this awful patch? Namco does not respect us as Tekken players, so why should we respect them? I don't know if I'm ever going to get over this back to basics thing. I can't believe they just blatantly lied. Was anything in this patch at all related to back to basics? Is giving chip damage to already strong moves back to basic? How about further increasing the already hideous combo length? Back to basics, right guys? I think they actually think we're just stupid. I remember when I was reading the patch notes live, even from the beginning, I was shocked as to how many times I was seeing stuff like, these adjustments are intended to make it easier to build offensive pressure. Did you guys see the tweet where someone analyzed this and discovered that the word easier appears 52 times? In 36 of those cases, it was offense was made easier or given expanded options. The word weakness only appears twice. Nice, guys. To me, this is the nail in the coffin for anyone trying to defend not only this patch, but Tekken 8 entirely. Somehow, the balance team's takeaway from the abysmal response to Season 2, definitely the lowest point in modern Tekken history, was that the community wants things to be easier. The thing that the vast majority of us hates about Tekken 8 is how easy everything has become, how streamlined offense is, how we're removing identity from these characters to make them simpler to play, how brain-dead Heat is. And here they are, seemingly doubling down on this. So much for back to basics. You know what? Maybe they didn't lie. Maybe by back to basics they meant back to Season 2. Back to core Tekken 8 values. There's plenty more issues we can talk about, like the new moves. Once again, they decided to give new moves to characters, even though this was one of the biggest issues with Season 2. A lot of characters' movesets already felt extremely bloated, but for some reason, Namco thinks what we want is adding on to them. I wouldn't be so negative if these were cool moves, but just like last year, the vast majority of these attacks are bland, low-effort, reused animations. Tekken used to be the coolest-looking fighting game, but we're straying further and further away from that. Am I the only one who thinks almost every new move introduced since Season 2 just looks like shit? Do they not have the budget to make new animations? Oh, but of course they do for Mr. Final Fantasy, who is still playing a completely different game than the other Tekken characters. Oh yeah, and speaking of low efforts, we also have the literal game-breaking bugs that came with these new moves and the patch in general. Heihachi's new charge-up attack is bugged, and if you mash it, it allows you to get the full charged +4 on block effect instantly. I've already run into people online abusing this. Feng Wei now has an unlimited usage heat smash on block. Back to basics, right? One of Devil Jin's heat engagers is bugged and wall splats from ridiculous ranges. And oh, remember how they removed the wall splat property in heat smashes? Well, actually, we lied. They still wall splats, if the first hit whiffs, which happens all the time. How could they miss something like this? Did they not test these changes before they published them? How is this at all acceptable for a AAA development team to ship the game's update out in this state? Are they new? Maybe it really is a whole new team. Maybe Nakatsu hired a team who had never balanced a game before. I don't know what to think here. There are so many more glitches I haven't talked about. Even more than in Season 2, which I thought was impossible, because that was a buggy mess too. And the game was left in this state for over a week. We heard nothing. Until just now, as I'm editing this video, they announced an emergency patch for the 25th. I'm really hoping this patch gets rid of at least the majority of the bugs, but we all know there's going to be a ton that slips through the cracks. And what about the million other issues that aren't bugs? Who knows when we'll get fixes for them? But don't worry guys, they introduced the Tekken Feedback Portal, which in reality is a Discord server where people can complain about their character. And already, people are doing just that. That was an emergency patch for the 25th. I'm really hoping this patch gets rid of at least the majority of the bugs, but we all know there's going to be a ton that slips through the cracks. And what about the million other issues that aren't bugs? Who knows when we'll get fixes for them? But don't worry guys, they introduced the Tekken Feedback Portal, which in reality is a Discord server where people can complain about their character. And already, people are doing just that. Based on the feedback we've already seen people submit in here, I have zero hope for this. Remember last season when people complained about ranked being too easy and inflated? Well, now it's like 10 times easier, because Tekken 8 is in love with that word. They can't get enough of it. Everything needs to be easier. Can't have people putting work in. Everyone should be able to pick up the controller, mash powerful buttons, and rank up. Great. Way to go, Season 3. Back to basics, am I right, guys? And I'm so excited now for all the Namco Glazers to come running in saying, "What did you expect? They told us it wouldn't be a huge update. We just gotta keep waiting. Just be patient." And after we get the next inevitably disappointing patch, they'll be telling us, "Oh, well, it's just small updates. You can't expect them to fix the whole game. Just wait for Season 4. And this whole cycle will continue. So this is Season 3. This is what we waited for, what we held out hope for. Looks like we fell for it again. Where does this leave us? Well, I'm sure the game will slowly improve. Maybe we'll get a patch every 3 months this year, maybe even...
Oh.
brother. I know this also, brother.
Yo, ladies and gents, what's going on? It's Spycap, because all doing well. So today in this video, we're going to be going through some of the biggest nerfs in Tekken.
Obama did an interview and he said aliens are real, but they're not in Area 51. Yeah?
I hope so. I hope they don't just all exist at Home Depot. Wouldn't it be awesome to see that with the naked eye?
An actual alien.
Yeah. Dude, if they could, listen, if they could recreate Jurassic...
Here we go. I'm back with my brother. Yo, Nick, this is quicker than I thought, kid.
Right?
You on fire right now.
Right?
Yeah.
It's getting that way.
Oh my God, yo, Nick. You know, I hit you offline. Well, first and foremost, please welcome Black to the platform. My friend, my brother, Sergeant Nicholas Irvin. Nick, welcome back here.
Always good to be here.
Absolutely. I hit you offline and I told you, you know, that last interview, it was going. It was out of here.
Yeah. I think that's like the biggest.
Today? I think we like over 800,000 right now.
Yeah, right now, over 800,000. I think that's like the biggest one we've done in a minute, right?
In a minute, yeah. And it's quick. I mean, what is that? 2 weeks old?
Not even 2 weeks yet.
Not even 2 weeks. Okay. You know something, Nick? I was calling you Mr. Go Viral, but truth be told, you just you see the Godfather, and he told Tom, you're out. He was like, yo, you're not a wartime consigliere. You are our wartime consigliere. That's just who you are.
It is what it is. I'll take it, you know?
Okay, kid. We are about 4 weeks into Operation Epic Fury. The president said that he expects this thing to be between 4 and 6 weeks. Do you think that timeline is real?
No. We already see what's playing out now. You know, you got the 82nd Airborne, you got troops moving in, Marines, you know, not plotting, but they're planning on, it looks like a ground invasion, maybe like towards the Strait of Hormuz, but I mean, 4 to 6 weeks, I just don't see how that's possible at this point in time. I mean, it like we had talked about before, it's like the COVID thing, you know, 2 weeks to stop the spread turned into like 2 years of bullshit. And we're on that same timeline right now. It's not 4 to 6 weeks, no. I think, and with Israel's game plan, what they have planned out, I think they want to, you know, a complete takeover. And what they, you know, it was not even supposed to be what it is right now. You know, is it a war? Is it not a war? You know, 1 minute Trump's calling it a war, then he'll call it like a military occupation. None of it's adding up. It's not a regime change, but there's a change. They're looking for a change in the regime. And those aren't my words, those are his. And it's all like, everything that they say is like it's Operation Epic Failure, you know, more than Epic Fury at this point.
Wow. Well, that remains to be seen.
It does, but I mean, 4 to 6 weeks, it wasn't even supposed to take 4 to 6 weeks to begin with. It was supposed to be sooner than that. You tell me 1 minute, hey, we completely obliterated their military, everything's all gone, why are we still there? Why are we seeking $200 billion, you know, from taxpayer money to fund a war that's already, supposedly we won already? So why are we still there? If you win a war, it's done, it's a wrap. But no, we're still seeking more money, we still want to send in troops.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, the way it's coming across the media, Trump out of his own mouth that said we have completely decimated their Navy.
Yeah.
You know, there has been strikes going on for the last 4 weeks, but somehow, some way, Iran, they're still retaliating.
Yeah.
With large missiles.
Yeah.
So something's just not adding up, right? Iran seems way more prepared for this war than we give them credit for.
Yeah, they've been playing it for years, decades. They've been playing it for decades, and that's why I think they're urging us to, to invade. They want to see boots on the ground. They're like, come on, bring it. And that place is not the place I think you want to have a ground war. You're fighting in a fishbowl surrounded by mountains. It won't be like Afghanistan. It won't be like Iraq. The population's like more than Iraq and Afghanistan combined. The landmass itself is much larger. I don't see how. I mean, there's ways to go about it, but it's not looking like. I would not want to fight in a ground war in Iran. I wouldn't know parts of that. Afghanistan and Iraq was enough. Iran's a different beast. That's my opinion, just looking at it, geographically. I would not want to fight a ground war there. I would want to keep it all, as much as you can with the air superiority, but with all those mountains and where they hide their weapons at, underground, I don't think we're scratching the surface on the munitions that they truly have. If you decimate an entire Navy, their military for that matter, their weapon systems, their supposed nuclear sites, there's a lot of stuff that they keep on throwing at other countries. It's almost like they have a never-ending supply. It's only costing them a few grand, a few stacks just to make the missiles that they have, and they've been building up that arsenal for decades.
At this point, Trump, he said he's considering winding down the military efforts against Iran. That's something that came out of his mouth. But conversely, the Pentagon said that they are already shipping ground troops into the region. Yep. They didn't say they're going to strike, but I believe at this moment we have over 1,000 ground troops on their way to the Middle East.
Yeah.
What does that tell you personally?
It means we're gearing up for a ground invasion. We're a ground operation, military operation, whether it's like to go seize a certain portion or a portion of land, an island. We're gearing up for something. But I think on the opposite side, the flip side of that, Iran's been prepping for it. We might say we're winding down on military operations, but then you got Israel saying we're not. We want to keep this ball rolling. We want to keep going, and we fall in line with what they want. If they're saying they're not done, we're not done. We got a while to go. I would be heavily surprised if this is done in the next 2 weeks. I don't see it happening.
I'd be heavily surprised if this is done in the next year, the truth be told. And that's as real as I could put it. This thing, it feels as though it's gearing up to be a much larger scale war than we intended it to be. I do believe that, maybe Trump, we can take these guys out with no problem. But to your point, they've been planning for this war for decades.
Yeah.
They've been ready for these strikes.
We said the same, but we said the same thing about Iraq, and we stayed there for 20 fucking years.
And that's my point.
20 years. Like, if you put that, looking back at it, hindsight's always 20/20, but a 20-plus year long war against the people who were supposedly, not that great to begin with, and we had the most advanced military in the world, and I believe we still do. We were having a hard time. We stayed there for a long time, fighting dudes in flip-flops and pajamas, and one mag and an AK-47. There's something about you can't kill someone's ideology. And these people, they believe in a certain cause. They believe in what they're fighting for, what they're standing up for. You can't kill that. You can kill as many people as you think or as you want, but that ideology's not going to go away. In order to make something like that go away, you have to genocide. You got to nuke something. You got to get rid of a lot of people. A lot of people.
You mentioned that in one of our very first conversations. You can't get rid of an ideology.
You're not killing anyone. You're just sparking a new rage. You can't kill an ideology.
And if you wanted to, like I said before, they're only looking at a genocide at that point. And I don't think that's morally right. But it's impossible to kill. The only way, it's impossible to kill that ideology of people who want to do harm to America.
In order to do that, to your point, you're going to literally have to wipe out generations.
Yeah.
Simultaneously.
Yep.
So, I hope this thing is over. But if I'm making a prediction, I say we have another, at the bare minimum, 10 more months of this.
I hope you're wrong, but based on, previous engagements that we've had with our military, I mean, you're probably right. I could see this going on for months and months and months. And we have some type of military occupation going on there. Whether it's not like a full-fledged war, whatever you want to call it, but yeah, for months and months, I could definitely, see that playing out.
Is there any part of you that thinks us sending those troops over there, stationing them in the Middle East, that this is just a strategy or a tactic to let them know it could get much worse than what it is, but we don't necessarily have the desire to go into full-scale ground combat?
We might not have the desire to do so, but we're definitely planning out, it's planning out to be that way. And like I said, these people they're not like, I think we thought we were going to go in there and bully them. I think that's what we thought we were going to do by killing, the Ayatollah and killing the Supreme Leader and, all these people, the higher-ups. I think that we thought we were going to go in there and bully these people. And it was going to cause like some type of uprising, within the country once we killed the Supreme Leader. And that all turned out to be, did not happen. It turned out to be a bad game plan. And America's always, we're notorious for wanting to start like a regime change or have an uprising and a civil war in the country so they can, take control of whatever. And it's never really panned out that way. We tried it, way back with the Bay of Pigs. We tried it in Iraq. We tried it with Afghanistan. None of that shit happened. Only thing that happened was they got pissed off. They didn't like foreigners in their land, and they started killing us. They started shooting back. That was the only uprising we got, was a fight. We never get the uprising we're wanting or going after, or the initial game plan. We never get that. We get the exact opposite. Like Pete Heck said today, he said, we negotiate by dropping bombs, or we negotiate with bombs. And you can't bomb these people enough. Like, we've tried that. That strategy does not work. America's still stuck on this way of fighting a war, and based on previous experience and history, it's never panning out the way we wanted it to. We end up with these forever and never-ending wars, and what do we gain from it? Innocent lives lost, troops lost, young lives lost. Taxpayers' pockets get hit. The economy suffers. What do we gain from it? Nothing.
Everything you said is 100% true. Everything. I can't pick apart anything you said and said that's not right or that's not right. But what's the alternative? You've been there. You've been on the ground. If we're not bombing them, what's the alternative here?
If we're not going to bomb them?
If we're not bombing them and we don't want to put boots on the ground, because you're saying, hey, the last thing that we want to do is put boots on the ground because they're prepared for that.
Mm-hmm.
So, is there a way to do it differently?
Yeah.
In which you see a better result?
Yeah, build a time machine, go back in the beginning, and never go there in the first place. We had no business doing anything over there. That's my opinion. That's the only alternative we have at this point, because America's not one to like tuck tail and leave. Not with this administration, at least. He's not going to tuck tail and be like, all right, we're done, we wrapped up. It's never been like that. We're definitely not. I don't think Trump's going to even, entertain that theory. I think we're already here, might as well keep going. And it's just going to turn out to be another never-ending war, or a war that is drawn on way too long, and we never should have been there in the first place, which is like most of the wars we get into.
do you think there's any truth to the reason we're over there in the first place is that they are building up this military arsenal and we want to make sure they don't have access or means to do so?
No, I don't believe that. Anytime a politician says something to get us into a war, automatically throw that shit out the window. Like, it's never been true. It's never been true. If you want to, like, go back to 9/11, most of those guys who attacked, took over the planes and stuff, they weren't even from Afghanistan. They were from Saudi Arabia. And if you want, like, propping up Bin Laden, like, who built Bin Laden? That was by our hands. The CIA, they were funding him back when his name was like Tim Osmond, his code name. We like build up a lot of these, I don't know, terrorist organizations. 1 minute we fund them, the next minute we fight them. I mean, I can never believe a politician, one, that's automatic, I never believe them. But when it comes to war, you gotta automatically just throw everything they see out the window. It's never the real reason. The real reason, I think, a lot of it has to do with oil and the control of oil and natural resources. But who's gonna want to fund the war? Who's, hey, we're gonna go kill innocent people because we need some oil. I need cheaper gas prices, or I need my food prices to go down. I don't know. Nobody wants to fund that. But then a lot of people also don't want to sign up to go fight either. Correct. Recruitment numbers are low. Just today, they raised the age limit to 42 years old. I mean, you ain't drafting me. I promise you that.
That's something I didn't even know. They literally raised the age limit.
Yeah, 42.
42 years old.
42 years old. Could you imagine being a 42-year-old dude? Come on. My back hurts, bro. Come on.
Exactly. Your back hurts, your knees are hurting.
Yeah.
You got to go through basic training.
Yeah. What's 18-year-old kids? Ain't happening. Ain't happening.
Oh, man. I didn't know that at all.
Yeah.
But I did just see a report the other day where they said that they're about to start drafting more women.
Really?
Like, literally drafted.
Really?
So, man, this is where I'm at right now. It's crazy, but you just mentioned oil and natural resources. Brings me to the Strait of Hormuz. They are, meaning Iran, they've pretty much shut that down.
Yeah.
That is the passageway for at least 20% of the world's oil.
Yeah.
It gets through that body of water. They shut it down. They've been aggressive toward any boats that they deem as hostile.
Mm-hmm.
And Trump, he called on NATO to come in and help, get this strait back open. And NATO was like, doo-doo-doo.
Yep.
Like, we ain't getting in this joint.
Yep. Can you blame them,
Did you expect that reaction from NATO?
Can you blame them? You can't blame. Well, go back to in the beginning when Trump was I don't even think he wants to not even be a part of NATO. But the minute you need help, it's like, all right, I need some help now, guys. Come help me out. They're like, nah, fuck that. I don't even think we should be a part of it. We're like the biggest contributor financially to NATO. I don't think we should even be a part of it. And then in return, you get nothing out of it. NATO ain't going to help do shit. But if I were in our allies or whatever, in their shoes, I don't think I would help out either. Like, what's the point? What's the point? I don't have to know. No. The United States of America and Israel, that's y'all shit. Or the United States of Israel, that's y'all shit. France, Switzerland, whatever. The coalition, they're like, fuck that. I'll be in the same boat. I'm not gaining anything out of it. I'm not gaining nothing.
It's interesting because when Trump, he asked for their help, a few countries was like, nah.
Mm-hmm.
We're not getting dragged into an ongoing war.
Mm-hmm.
They were very, very vocal and very clear about that. Trump did what he typically does. He went on Truth Social and he posted, without the U.S., NATO is a paper tiger.
Ooh.
Like, literally.
Yeah.
He put that out there to the world. They don't want to help us open the strait. They're cowards. He says that, and nobody responds. Shield is like, yo, we don't even hear you. We don't see you. We're not signed up to True Social. So they were vocal that they weren't going to get in this thing.
Yeah.
But when he called them out for not getting in it, not one country even replied.
I don't think I would either, though. Why entertain it? Why entertain the bullshit? You know, he's only going to talk shit about you anyways. He's already been talking shit about you. Why respond? Let the dude talk. Go fight y'all war. Be more in debt. We're already, what, $36 trillion in debt? And here we are trying to fund a whole new war campaign that benefits the average American citizen 0%. Like, your 401k ain't going to go up. If anything, it's going to go down. What do we want, like another 2008 recession? What are we looking for? We don't gain anything from it. But, hey, if that's how you want to destroy your own... country from within, go ahead and knock that out. Go ahead and do another military campaign for the next 20-something years. But if I'm France or anybody else for that matter, why would I want to get involved in that? Nigga, we're broke. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to be broker. I'm already fucked up. My pockets is already looking dumb.
No, I mean, truth be told, the more I think about this, maybe this war won't drag on for another 10 months. And I'll tell you why. The midterms are right around the corner.
I don't think he cares about the midterms at this point. He can't get reelected.
Yeah, but he doesn't want to lose that power. He doesn't want that base to lose power. Everything that he has put into place, you know, if everybody crosses that aisle and it, you know, swings the other way, the power is gone, at least for another few years.
Yeah.
So behind every war is politics as usual. You know that. The more I think about it, you know, he may not be able to afford staying over because gas prices have risen at least $1.
Yeah.
At least $1.
Yeah.
Since this war started. We're only 4 weeks into it. You know, food prices are literally through the roof.
Yeah.
People are scared. People don't know how they're going to pay their bills. And at the end of the day, you know, people, they're going to have the final say-so in this. You know, during those midterms, I just don't know that he or this administration can afford to have this war go on for much longer at all. Maybe that's why he called NATO in, because I need to end this thing.
I mean, according to those fake polls that we talked about, you know, on CNN, they just had a poll, and allegedly, like 100% of the MAGA fan base, Trump base or whatever, like supports him 100%. 100% of MAGA, whatever the fuck that is, 100% of MAGA like supports what he's doing right now. I mean, I don't. If the polls are anything that's real and he believes them, which I'm sure he loves the polls or whatever when it talks about him like that, he has nothing to lose. I think that they're going to keep putting out these fake numbers and lying to him, so he does continue on with this campaign, military occupation. But then again, the voter doesn't matter to Trump. I'm telling you, it's that other country that's controlling him. He has no citizen. The American people don't have a say-so. If we did, we probably wouldn't even be here in the first place. It's not about what the average American citizen wants. It's about what another country wants and benefits. And if they can use us like a puppet to go bomb a different country, that's exactly what we're going to do. They get money. They get money from it. Like they get big money from this. No politician in a war goes broke. They only get richer.
There you go.
They only get richer. So by continuing this, it's only fulfilling their pockets. Yeah, we're going to hurt from it, but they're making bank.
Nah, I mean, that's so true. It really is across the board. They're getting richer, and we do know Benjamin Netanyahu, this has been his dream.
Yo, his wet dream. Yeah, this is his wet dream.
And he's finally seeing that dream become a reality.
So now UK and Bayside evens here. Wow,
4. Get ready for the next battle.
Become a reality,
right?
But again, I have to believe,
Round 1.
you know, in self-preservation. That's the first law of the land. In one hand, yes, the politicians and the Trump family is getting richer. We know that to be a fact. But if they lose this stronghold, if that base starts to waver, and they show up strong for the other side in these midterms. I don't know that the last, Trump was in office in 2016 to 2020. He comes back in 2024. I don't know that it would have been working, man. I don't know.
You think it's going to be that the midterms are that important to him right now?
I do.
Really?
I do. I think it's that important. Yeah, well, absolutely. I think it's that important. It's beyond just the MAGA base. It's the entire Republican base. It's. I do.
I don't think the average Republican's going to waver for their support, though. I don't think they would flip sides. No. There's too much hate on both sides to want to flip. There's too much hate on both sides. I'm not going to... One side hates the other side so much, there's no way they can fathom going over to that side or supporting the other side. There's just no way. I think they're going to stay loyal to the game, like a true gang member would, and they're going to ride it out that way, to the death, till death do us part.
Yeah, this is one of those interesting conversations because I think you're grossly underestimating self-preservation.
Oh, I could be, yeah.
People's pockets are hurting right now. And when your pockets start hurting, I don't care what side you're on. You're going on this. Let's just keep it real. How many Democrats do we know? How many independents that we know went to the other side and voted for this administration because when Trump was president, everybody had money in the bank.
Yeah.
It was as simple as that. You would see interviews from everybody.
Yeah.
And the common through line was, when Trump was in office, I had money.
Yeah.
When Biden took office, the well dried up.
Yeah.
So...
hey, if Iran is true to their word and they pump up those gas prices to like $200 a barrel, then yeah, it might be a little bit more. We're going to do more than just vote. I think the average person's going to do a lot more than just putting it on the ballot. $200 a barrel, you're paying $6, $7, $8, $10 for a gallon of gas. Yeah, niggas going to start throwing hands in the street. That's what I think.
No, I couldn't agree with you more. That's when you're going to see the average person hitting the streets.
Yeah.
It's a fine line between somebody who walks that straight and narrow and you turning into a criminal. All you got to do is shake up their economics.
Yep.
It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
So
you can make more money on the street than you can at a 9 to 5. I could, 100%.
People right now, they're just not able to pay their bills, man. They're not. You're seeing more and more young people who are living at home with their parents until they're damn near old people. They can't afford to move out.
Yeah, the cost of homes.
And if they do move out, they got 3, 4, 5 roommates.
Yeah, that's fucked up. That's fucked up. That's wild when you think about it, though. Like, the average young generation right now, the younger generation, like, for the most part, you won't be able to afford a home. You won't be. You don't get $1 million saved up. Nah. That 10%, 20% down payment. You ain't moving like that. Not on $7.25, $8, $9 an hour. You're not. No. You have no choice but to stay at home with mom. But I don't think you can't vote your way out of shit like that. I don't care who's in office.
I think they're gonna hit the streets, man.
Hey,
I think it's just that simple, man. That war you've been talking about is closer than we think.
Deep down, there's a large demographic within America that wants a civil war to happen. 100% believe that. And that's it's all about sides, man. The right one, the left one, it's about sides. And I think that there's a side, maybe both sides, but there's a large number of people out there that I think they really want a civil war. However they think that's gonna, look. Oh yeah.
That civil war?
Yep.
It's right here.
Yep, I believe so, 100%. I'm telling you, by 2030, if we
ready for the next battle. Round one. Fight. Get ready for the next battle.
we haven't seen some type of stupidity in the streets, hey, that's a good thing, but I don't see us making it that far. You got people, you know, the power grid might get cut off by then. We might get our power grid attacked. You're just gonna start throwing hands on this.
Get ready for the next battle. Round one. Fight. for the next battle. Get ready for the next battle.
아이고. 아. 아이고.
for the next battle. Get ready for the next battle. Round one. Fight. Round two. Fight. Round three. Fight. Final round. Fight.
Bitch.
Round one. Fight. Round two. Fight.
아, 혈압 올라. 아, 진짜. 텔레그램. 아, 짜증나.
Get ready for the next battle.
아.
Get ready for the next battle. Must. Round one. Fight.
와, 그.
Round one. Fight.
Ah, that's oh boy. 바지를 좀 갈아입자. Raging.
Get ready for the next battle.
다시 갈았어. 아, 진짜. 아이고야.
Get ready for the next battle.
If I needed to lose 10 pounds in the next 60, 90 days, these are a few things that I would do. You could use all 11 of these tactics, or you could pick ones that really align with you personally and work well for you. The first thing that I would do is I would pregame each meal with a little bit of protein, maybe a half a scoop of protein powder. I've done this for a really long time. First of all, protein is the most satiating macronutrient that there is, so you're going to literally be less hungry. So if you're going into a dinner with some family, or you know you're going to be around food that's tempting, simply pre-gaming with protein is an utter game changer.
물 좀 가지고 올게요.
You don't have to exude as much willpower to stay away from temptation. Plus, you're also just flat out more satiated, so you'll probably eat less. The next one is much more tactical, a little more specific. Personally, I would start my day off with 3 whole eggs and 3 whites. Normally, I'm all about the eggs, and I will eat the whole egg. I eat a lot of eggs. But if I'm trying trying to trim things back, the egg whites provide a lot of satiety. Obviously, the protein's the most satiating part. The yolk is hugely beneficial and has most of the nutritional value. But I'd say above 3 eggs, you're not getting yourself a lot more, right? You've got a lot of fat-soluble vitamins in there, all these great nutrients, sure, but I don't think you're getting more out of like 6 eggs instead of just calories than you would out of like 3. I mean, yes, you literally are, but in terms of what you're going to actually utilize, you satiety and just might be good to get just from a veggie source or a multivitamin bottle. So I put a link down below for 54% off the creatine that I use. They have their gummies, which you wouldn't want to eat during a fast, but if you eat those the meal before you start your fast, you load up your creatine reserves, and they have a gummy that is actually sweetened with allulose, so you don't get a major blood sugar spike from it, and honestly, it's a nice little treat. So you can have that before starting your fast, and you'll notice your brain energy stays nicely elevated and activated throughout the fast. So that link is down below. Again, that's a 54% off discount link, so it's a huge discount. That's very exclusive for the people that watch my videos, so exclusively for you. So that link is down below. The next thing I do is I would do random acts of protein-sparing modified fasting. You watch my videos enough, you hear me talk about this, so I'll spare you the gory details on it. But essentially, protein-sparing modified fasting looks like this: lean meat, lean dairy, lean protein, very low fat, very low carb, very low fat, practically zero carb. We're talking random, sporadic bouts of this. I don't like doing it on a schedule too much because it works so well that it's moderately addicting. It works so well and the results are so fast that it's easy to overdo it. So I throw protein-sparing modified fasting in randomly. I'm also a believer that sometimes a thought or an idea comes into our brain before it ever bubbles to our consciousness, so maybe it's preconceived, maybe it's not. But at the end of the day, I might wake up one day and say, I am only going to eat lean chicken breast and lean deli meat today, and that's it. That way I'm preserving muscle mass, I'm still having muscle protein synthesis, but my calories are aggressively low, I'm not going to waste muscle. And yeah, it might be hard to get through that day, but you'll find that protein-sparing modified fasting, when done randomly, is a great tool to melt some fat. You see all kinds of stuff. You see like Ted Neiman talking about it. He's one of the big guys that really talks about it. I gotta have him on the channel soon. Point is, it works. So do that randomly, no more than twice a week. Another thing that I would do is I would have ground or freshly ground flax seeds, ideally with breakfast. Interestingly enough, flax seeds get a bad rap because they have phytoestrogens in them, and that could be construed as an estrogenic food. Now, the interesting thing is most of the literature suggests that the phytoestrogens that are in flax seeds actually bind to the estrogen receptors, thereby blocking actual estrogen from hitting the receptor, and consequently potentially lowering, estrogens.
Apple cider vinegar and dental pain.
interview nobody saw coming. Tekashi 69 on Vlad TV.
Right. I thought I'd been there when I told you that. I thought I did.
Nah, this is our first time.
You gave me, you know how when they have the Vlad interview and they send like the assistant out to do it? I felt like I did one of those because I was remember.
Nah, I'm definitely doing this one myself.
I bet.
Well, let's start in the very beginning.
Yeah.
Born and raised in Bushwick, Brooklyn.
Mm-hmm.
What's your childhood like?
I mean, like a regular childhood, like just, you know, Mexican mom came in 1986, you know. The cliche, you know, single parent home. You know, my stepfather, who I thought was my real father, you know, played that role for me, you know. We didn't have crazy money. So, you know, just, it was a having nothing childhood to like, you know, to like I think I was 14 when I just got my first job. My dad passed away in 2010, so that's when I started working with my brother and stuff, just to help my mom out and stuff like that. So it was one of those childhoods.
Okay, so your mom is Mexican.
Yep.
And she was a factory worker.
No, my mom was not a factory. No, she used to clean houses.
Clean houses, okay.
Yeah. She used to clean houses for like the Hasidic Jews.
Okay.
And that was
Burger
she was one of
King.
those families.
Got it. And your dad, Daniel Hernandez Sr., he's from Puerto Rico.
Yeah, I didn't even know who he was.
Right. You were 9 years old.
Yeah, I was in third grade when he showed up.
Okay, but your mom said that your dad was dead at one point?
No.
No. Okay.
I thought my real dad was my stepfather. Yeah, Luis Nazario.
So, you meet your dad around 8 or 9 years old. What was it like to see your dad for the first time? Like, did he look like you?
Nah, I didn't even know. I was walking home from school. This dude comes up to me, asks me for directions, right? And he asked me where's a train or whatever, like a train station. I said, yo, you walk down, go left. That's where you're gonna find a train. That's me coming out of school. So we keep walking like 3 to 4 blocks, and then the same dude shows up. Like as we were walking like into my house, I see the same dude. So I found it weird because we 4 blocks away, and he asked me where's the train directions. I sent him the other way. So when I sent him the other way, and I see him, you know, standing by the house on the same block of the house, I found it weird, and then I told my mom, I was like, yo, didn't this dude tell me, asked me for the direction of the train, and then he came up to me, and I was like, yo, I said it was that way, and then he's like, yo, I'm your dad, that's how he, and then I looked at my mom started crying, I was like, yo, I didn't even pay him no mind, because the love I got from the love I had from my, you know, stepfather would never change, you know what I mean? And they, so I just...
Well, didn't your real dad have some drug problems?
Well, yeah, he had drug problems and stuff like that. And he kept having drug problems.
Yeah.
But that don't matter. Like, if you know, have drug problems, you know, you're still my dad, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But abandoning me, you know what I mean, that was a whole, you know, and there was no reason for it, because if you came into my life and my mom opened that door for you to, like, you know what I mean? Because my mom, I know her working, cleaning houses doesn't, and my mom, it's my mom, so I lived with her. And my mom was, I could tell if my mom really needed us to go to like a father figures, she would let that happen because she's always working. So we used to stay, me and my brother used to stay home by ourselves doing nothing, you know what I mean? We didn't have the money to do nothing, we couldn't go nowhere. So him being a drug addict is not an excuse for not, you know, wanting us in his life.
He also went to prison for a while for drugs.
Well, I still don't know.
Drug selling, I think.
Yeah, I still don't know. To be honest with you, I never looked into it. I don't care about it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's still not an excuse. You know what I mean? He was out of prison. From what I understand, went to Orlando, lived with his family or whatever. Didn't come look for us till he needed some help, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay, and you had an older brother. Well, you have an older brother,
Yeah.
Oscar.
Yeah, Oscar.
And you guys grew up together.
Yeah.
You guys were in the church a lot.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we grew up in church. Like, my mom gave her life to God, like, when we was in, like, 6th grade. 6th grade, 1st grade, I was 6 years old, so every day was church. Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And Sunday twice. And Sunday twice because church started at 9:30 and finished, 8:30 and finished at 11:30. From 11:30, the church would resume back at 5 o'clock. Second, like Justo. So we would stay in church because everybody from the church would go upstairs and the pastor's wife would cook. And we would just stay there. So from 8:30 to 9:30 at night, we'll be in church all day. So it's like, 10 hours?
Okay. So here you are, you're growing up with your mom and your stepdad and your brother, going to church, relatively normal childhood. You guys are struggling financially, but a lot of kids are going through the same thing.
Yeah, everybody, So that's why I said these shit.
Yeah. But then, when you're 14 years old, a tragedy happens. Let's talk about that.
So, I don't really like to talk about it. I'm gonna zoom through it. I don't really like to talk about it.
Fair enough.
My stepdad asks me, yo, come with me to the supermarket. You know what I mean? And when he tells me come with me to the supermarket, I said, nah, go, because I just had a girlfriend, right? This was like, I lost my virginity, like, in May. I lost my virginity, like, in May of, like, that year.
2010.
Yeah. So, if I'm not mistaken, you know what I mean? So, I know that's fact. So, around August, early September, he tells me, yo, take this trip with him to the supermarket. I'm 13, you know what I mean? So, I tell this girl, I'm 14, because May 8th passed. So, and it was an 8th grade summer. I tell, my dad, no, go, like, I'm with my girlfriend, like, I don't want to go carry the cart, because we had to push a cart, the cart with the 4 wheels on it?
Yeah.
The square cart?
Yeah.
So I'm like, nah, you gonna make me push that shit, like, I ain't trying to go do that. And then, he goes, it's like 4 o'clock, 3 o'clock, some shit like that. Hours pass, keep passing. And yo, where my pops at, like, you know what I mean? So then, one of my neighbors at Waldito, he lives upstairs, he was knocking on the window, he's like, yo, your pops is laid out on Belvedere. I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, your pops laid out on Belvedere. I'm like, nah. So I tell my mom, and my mom starts screaming. I run out in my underwear, like I'm just running. So I see there's already ambulance, already mad people. Like, yo, that's my dad. My dad, he don't know where he's at. So I'm like, I'm 13, I'm 14, you know what I mean? So what am I gonna do? I start looking around, I start telling people, like, what happened, like, da-da-da. They're like, yo, whatever. Long story short, they took my pops to Bellevue. It was like a head trauma. So he died September 15th, a day away from his birthday.
What was the situation around the shooting? Did you ever find out?
No, it wasn't a shooting. He got hit with an object that cracked his skull open.
Oh.
But the blood never exited. So, for the cause that the blood never exited, all the blood, it's internal bleeding.
Swelling.
It's swelling.
Yeah.
So he went into cardiac arrest, and he was on that, what was that called? The tubes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Life support, basically.
Life support, yeah. What, so did someone hit him with something?
I still don't know to this day.
So there was no police investigation, nothing?
No, they did, but it was like on a back block.
Oh.
You know what I mean? It was on a back block, so
they don't know.
Yeah, like, alright, so 18 Locust, if you look at it on the Google map, it's an industrial area behind it. You know what I mean? You have Broadway, that's the main street, but then you have Beaver. So I live between 18 Locust, between Broadway and Beaver. It's all industrial. They have fish factories, all that type of stuff, you know what I mean?
Okay. But the streets talk. Did anyone ever say, oh, I think this happened, or this guy did it?
Yeah, there was a little conversation like that, but remember, I'm 14.
Yeah, you're a kid.
I'm 14, my brother's 15, you know what I mean? And it's weird the way the block works. Like Belvedere, everybody, whoever's on Belvedere don't talk to nobody on Locust. Whoever's on Locust, nobody talk to nobody on Park. Whoever's on Park, nobody talk to, who's on Arian. You know what I mean? Like, it's they block, you know what I mean?
Okay. And that situation caused a lot of depression.
Yeah.
Okay. You actually got expelled in 8th grade.
I got expelled. No, remember, I was 8th grade summer, so I got expelled.
Into the 9th grade.
Like 9th or 10th grade, one of those grades. It was like 10 years ago. So like, you know, I got expelled. They sent me to like a therapy. I've been in therapy since I was 14. Then they sent me to like this special school that I thought it was like for like small kids. When I get there, it's like full of kids that like with trauma, like, you know what I mean, like got raped and shit like that, molested, people foster home, you know what I mean. I just went there. I just dropped out. I was like, I ain't doing this, like, you know what I mean.
So basically, you dropped out in high school.
I dropped out, yeah, in high school.
Okay, so what happens when you're a 10th grade, 9th grade dropout? Like, what are you doing during the day?
I'm working.
You're working?
Yeah, I'm working. I told you I started working with my brother. First restaurant we started working at, he was working in, I forgot the name of the restaurant, but they had a sister's restaurant that was called Santos Ann. Santos Ann, I try to help my brother doing the dishwashers, you know what I mean? I'm 14, remember, I was still in 10th grade coming to school, taking the L train from 14th Street, not 14th, yeah, 14th Street.
I can't believe that game.
To Lorimer. From Lorimer, I get out and go straight to my job, like, you know what I mean? And